All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. This is a very special live stream. We had a very interesting day, and I want to say categorically that although it was frustrating, nerve-wracking, as you can see, I have no hair. I've pulled all my hair out. No, I always had a shaved head, but number one, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. The next thing I want to say is that today was very good. Today was excellent. If you think that I'm full of Bandini or Rosenstein or full of Hillary Clinton, I want you to realize a couple of things. When Louis Gohmert forces Rod Rosenstein to say that he didn't read the FISA warrant, that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. When Trey Gowdy says, what was it? Get the heck. Something about, ending the Mueller probe and get the heck on with it and end it. Or, poop or get off the pot, so to speak. Or whatever. We'll get to the exact phrase. But he said, if you can't provide evidence of what's going on, then end the Mueller probe. So that was Trey Gowdy. Jim Jordan completely eviscerated Rod Rosenstein, and Sniffles, who was always sniffling, sniffle. He always sniffling. And it was just like when Trump was in that debate with Clinton. When Rod Rosenstein said, hey, did you subpoena phone calls? He meant phone records. And then Rosenstein said, oh, well, it's impossible to subpoena phone calls. And then people on the left are like, oh, yeah, this is amazing. Oh, my God, he burned. No, you can subpoena phone calls. And Rosenstein seems like the type of guy to threaten. But when it's Rosenstein and gossip, oh, my God, did you see how he was upset with Jim Jordan? Oh, my God, how can you go? And by the way, we have two minutes in, 384 people. This is going to be a nice live stream. So text the link to everybody to my super chat. If you want to speak about something or vent, let me know and I'll read your message. And I want to thank you. You are, the power source or the fuel for this channel. You provide, just immense incentive to the super chat people and just everyone. Just awesome. We're doing like close to 1,000 often at nights in the middle of the night for HA After Dark. So I want to thank everybody. So my super chat, let me know what you want to talk about, or if you have anything to say, and just thank you so much. As always, this is going to be a very important segment. All of you, thank you, all of you for watching. Jim Jordan eviscerated Rod Rosenstein. Let's just recap. Every single time Rod Rosenstein was pinned, he then said, I can't comment on an ongoing investigation. Every single time he was pinned to a corner, he played the bureaucrat. He played the, I can't answer an ongoing investigation. Christopher Wray did the same thing. When he was pinned on other issues, well, I wasn't here. That was another administration. That was Loretta Lynch. That was James Comey. So he appealed to the ongoing investigation excuse. He then appealed to, well, I wasn't here. He then appealed to, well, it's classified information. And all the while, whenever he was forced to acknowledge something, for example, Peter Strzok's text, he then said, well, believe me, if there's anyone if there's anyone who wants to ensure that people aren't biased, it's me. So that was another way he circumvented communication. Jeff Cooley, thank you. Is Rosenstein a radio-controlled robot or what? Jeff Cooley, thank you. I think so. Jack Billingsley, he's not going to become president, right? Exactly. So I have the best. One thing about my super chat, they make me make me laugh, make me think. And yes, so Jeff Cooley, he is a radio controlled robot, but you know what? He is a creature of bureaucracy. He's not going to become president, right? Right? Jack Billingsley. So you cannot get, I mean, let's just quick recap. Tamara Friedman, you are absolutely wonderful. Tamara Friedman, hearing your voice always makes me feel glad you are also on this crazy planet. Best comments on your live talks. Tamara, you are very, very sweet and wonderful. Thank you so much for your continued support of this channel and for always watching. Thank you. So Rosenstein and Wray did pretty much what I expected them to do. A couple of things I didn't expect them to do, which was kind of a curveball. See, they throw basic, bureaucracy fastballs. I can't answer. It's an ongoing investigation. I can't answer. It's classified. I can't answer. It was Comey and Lynch. I wasn't there. I can't answer. Oh, the best part of the whole thing was, I think, when Jim Jordan said, why did you keep the stop? I think it was either Jim Jordan or Gowdy. He said, why did you keep the stop Trump text? No, it was Ron DeSantis. I don't know which is one of them. And he said, I'll have you know that it was not my decision to keep any documents. Oh, this was okay. Why were you keeping documents from us? And then he said, I'll have you know, it was not my decision to keep any documents from anyone. I am not part of the redaction or redacting process. Other people redact, not me. So step off, get off my, stop busting my. That's what Rosenstein said. So that mean it's just they're obviously lying through the teeth. But today was a very, very good day. There's a resolution that passed through the House. And yeah, whatever. It's non-binding, but who cares? Who cares? This is a very, very good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to lead eventually to Clinton indictments. See, the thing is, she's going to get charged. She's committed many, many crimes, whether it's the Espionage Act, whether it's campaign finance, whether it's Clinton Foundation, whether it's something a month from now or 2 months from now that has nothing to do with these investigations, whether it's these investigations. I do think that the issue of transferring top secret intelligence from SIPRIN, JWICs, and SCIFs onto an unencrypted server is the biggest issue here. So we got 680 people watching. It's 8 minutes, 684, 8 minutes. Let's go ahead and, if you're on Twitter, Instagram, Minds, Gab, Facebook, just click on the link, copy the link, and share it out to people and say, hey, if you want a real discussion about this insanity today, let's talk. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to go through all the insane bureaucratic games. And thank you, D. Velasquez. It's very kind of you. And we're going to talk about exactly how they were able to just circumvent and dodge and evade all these questions. So I said, basically, just to recap the different ways they evaded the questions. Number one, it's classified. I can't talk about classified information. Number two, they said it's an ongoing investigation. Number three, sniffles. Just like when Trump was debating Clinton, they made sure that Trump's mic, like anything, you could hear the sinuses, everything. But with Clinton, she could blow her nose, nothing. So it was all rigged. But so it's classified. Ongoing investigation. Sorry, can't help you. Comey and Lynch were there. Not my bag. I wasn't there. Sorry, can't help you. How dare you insinuate that my actions would be anything less than stellar, even though I didn't give you the documents. And by the way, I'm not part of the redacting process. Other people redact. Or it was an appeal to that's just the process. The best part also, hello, Jacksonville, Florida. The best part also was two things. When Louis Gohmert said, hey, you didn't read the FISA application, he said, well, you know, it was an FBI agent swore under oath. That is meaningless if it was Strzok, Page, Kleinsmith, or anyone else. They hated Trump. And all of this also is it's very easy to utilize bureaucracy to start an investigation, especially when you had John Brennan at CIA and James Comey and James Clapper at ODNI and James Comey at the FBI. These people are all liars and cutthroats. They're not only shady, they're the biggest liars, and they hate Trump. So when Christopher Wray, who seems like a straight shooter, Joseph Arbuckle, thank you. Rat Rod controls 116,000 FBI, and HA has 116,000 subs. Thank you, Joseph Arbuckle. Thank you. Thank you, Joseph. He kept saying, well, you know, three different judges looked at this, and an FBI agent swore under oath, and I didn't read the whole FISA warrant. Why didn't anyone tell anyone? Why didn't anyone tell the judge that Hillary Clinton purchased the Steele dossier? Why didn't anyone tell the judge that there's no evidence derived from U.S. intelligence? Why didn't anyone tell the judge that this was opposition research without anything corroborating the allegations made? Well, you know, it is illegal to talk about a FISA application. So there's another issue also. So let's go ahead. House passes resolution calling for DOJ to show Russia probe documents. The House passed a resolution on Thursday demanding the Department of Justice turn over all documents about the Russia investigation during the 2016 election. This was all done, ladies and gentlemen, to cover the behinds of people who tried to cover Hillary Clinton's behind. This was all done under the guise of national security. And then what I don't like on the Republican side is this. What I don't like is that Matt Gaetz and other people, oh no, Gowdy is like, well, you know, Russia did try to attack us. Well, how did they attack us? Well, Russia, the intelligence community attacked us, right? Right, Christopher Wray? Well, this is what the intelligence community stated. The intelligence community was only confident, and Chuck Todd, James Clapper told Chuck Todd that there's no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. The House passed a resolution on Thursday demanding the Department of Justice turn over all documents about the Russia investigation. The 226 to 183 vote fell along party lines. So if you own Congress, you're going to go ahead and get that vote through. I mean, the House, with one GOP lawmaker voting present, and sets a deadline on July 6th for the turnover of all documents. Otherwise, they then either impeach or Rosenstein faces contempt of Congress. So I'm not 100% sure what the parliamentary or what the congressional protocol is, but he's in deep doo-doo. He's in deep doo-doo. He's in deep Hillary poo-poo. Poo-poo out. That is my John Brennan. So let's go ahead. Rod Rosenstein. So, I mean, And he was also, well, we're not going to comment on ongoing. Do you have any evidence of the Mueller probe? No, we're not going to comment on that. We're not going to comment on evidence. And then Eric Swalwell, who is a congressman, stated, oh, well, has there ever been an unindicted subject of an investigation given evidence? Trump is not the unindicted subject. He's not even the target. And Mueller came out with this dumb thing. Well, he's not the target, but he's the subject. He's not the subject or the target. Mueller is going after everyone around Trump to hurt Trump. It's all a bunch of nonsense. Mueller, subject, target, Trump. Hillary Clinton was the person who actually committed crimes. So the Democrats are like, have you ever had a situation where an unindicted subject was given evidence? There's never been a time where somebody hasn't been accused of an actual crime yet investigated. Trump is not accused of a crime. That's what they, And then the Washington Post, how Rosenstein's and Wray's testimony undermine GOP efforts to undermine the Russia investigation. Wrong. This is, with all due respect to the author and the Washington Post, but that's wrong. GOP argument, the Russia investigation is led by Democrats. That's not the GOP argument. The GOP argument is that the Russia investigation is an investigation without a predicate crime that Democrats benefit from. I do not consider myself an angry Democrat, Wray said. Yeah, okay. So, GOP argument. Rosenstein inappropriately approved spying on the Trump campaign. No, that's not the GOP argument. The GOP argument is that there is no evidence to warrant spying. Delbert Stallworth, thank you. Thank you, Delbert Stallworth. Thank you, Delbert Stallworth. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone in the super chat. Also, if you have any questions regarding this insane day, let me know. Delbert Stallworth, thank you. So in the super chat, let me know if you have any questions or anything to say. We got 914 people on here, 17 minutes in. Go ahead and share this link. Click the link above and share the link. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be going ahead and making shirts through Teespring, which is a YouTube partner. So I just got to go ahead and do that today. I got to set up the Teespring through YouTube. Angela, Jordina Chung, thank you so much. I think we all should be calling our congressman. I am very disappointed in these two clowns. These two clowns didn't get the answer to the simple questions we American people want to know. Angela, 100% right. I agree 100% with you. And Angela, I think that it's a case of them hiding behind bureaucracy. But I said today is a very good day because you can't. Look, the adage, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. You live by bureaucracy. Your demise politically comes through bureaucracy. We know that with Andrew McCabe and Comey and Strzok and all of them. Their political demise is through bureaucracy. So Wray, I'm less concerned with because I think Wray is playing ball like Sessions. Rosenstein, very much concerned with. Rosenstein made me tear my non-existent hair out. But Angela, thank you so much. Thank you, Angela, and I agree 100% with you. Silence do good. 3 times viewer watching the stream today on Fox compared to Washington Post foreshadowing November. Yeah, I mean, well, I think silence. I think that I think November is going to be a sweep again for Republicans. I mean, Democrats have nothing, so. And Democrats are facing, with Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, they're facing something that they never expected. At least, I mean, it might be a bit overstated now because that district, has been Democrat forever. But within the Democratic Party, there's a civil war, political civil war, so to speak. That I think, unfortunately, the establishment's going to win. Had Bernie fought back, the establishment would be destroyed. But Bernie didn't fight back, so. But Rooster Cogburn, good day, HA. Another former aide to Roger Stone has been subpoenaed in the Russia investigation by Mueller today, too. Feels like Mueller's last gasp. Rooster Cogburn, I agree with you. I think it's Mueller's last gasp. And I think what Mueller is doing is he's saying to Rosenstein and Wray, cover me, I'm going in. Reading this, he's saying basically, let's go ahead and let's try to make this about process and bureaucracy. So let's hide behind, so Rooster Cogburn, let's hide behind process and bureaucracy. They also altered the 302s, exactly. So George, you're 100% right, George McDowell Jr. They altered the 302s, and so Angela, I am 100% in agreement with you. Rosenstein, in particular, was shameless when it came to just saying, I can't answer, it's classified. I can't answer, it's an ongoing investigation. I can't answer, I wasn't there, it was Comey's problem. I can't answer, I'm not doing the redacting. I can't answer, I am the head, I'm the jefe, I'm the chief, I'm the leader of 100,000+ people. Well, who cares, Rosenstein? Who cares? You have to do your job. The American people have asked through Congress for records. We need records. We need documents. And if you have to redact them, then we'll go ahead and go through the process. All of this is from Madam Hillary, Madam Secretary, Madam Cyberhack. By the way, today I was berated on Twitter. Well, they attempted to berate me, which I don't really care because I warned them all. Some writers on the left, Hillary supporters, they were saying, oh, yeah, well, there are a lot of pro-Bernie writers who caused all of this. And then she quoted my article, one of my articles, saying how horrible Hillary was. And then I went to this writer, and then I just sent her one article in The Hill saying exactly that Clinton is defeated by Trump, that Trump defeats Clinton. And then another article in the Huffington Post that I wrote stating that favorability ratings make Clinton unelectable. I could have then I sent her my MSNBC episode that the Sane Progressive was kind enough to put on her Facebook page. And then, of course, you know, because people were like, you're an undercover Trumper. And I'm like, I wasn't an overt Trump supporter until about a month ago, 2 months ago, when the day they tried to sue WikiLeaks is the day I said, that's it. I am overtly a Trump supporter. Now I'm voting for him in 2020. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did that. But we got 1,054 people. It's 24 minutes in. Let's keep going here. Yeah, and I said, you'll just have to deal with peace between North and South Korea. You'll just have to deal with FBI agents being exposed. You'll just have to deal with the slow dismantling of the Democratic Party peacefully and politically. Democratic Party is done politically because they're doing it to themselves and Trump is doing it to them. Trump is actually making them, he's exposing the safety net they had in the intelligence community. You cannot blame Russia without showing the servers. So Trump said that today. And I've been saying, I had a petition out to get the DNC servers, to get the DNC to give their servers. But let's go ahead and look at Trump's tweets today. So Trump's tweets. So the House passed a resolution. You have a July 6th date. So where's Trump? So Trump's tweets today, and we'll get to Jim Jordan in a moment. So Jim Jordan ripped Rosenstein a new one. Of course, Democrats are like, oh my God, you can't subpoena phone calls. I went to like WikiHow, like .com or HowWiki or whatever. It's like, how to subpoena phone records? Yeah, you can do that. They're so happy, like, oh my God, Rosenstein. He knew what Jim Jordan was talking about. He was just playing stupid, which wasn't a difficult part to play. This is Donald J. Trump, President Trump today in the morning. Peter Strzok worked as the leader of a rigged witch hunt for a long period of time. He got it started and was only fired because the gig was up. But remember, he took his orders from Comey and McCabe, and they took their orders from you-know-who. You-know-who is Hillary Clinton. Oh, you-know-who is President Obama and also Hillary Clinton. Mueller, Comey, best friends. That's true. That's true. We have 1,128 people. Let's get to 1,500. Why not? Why can't we get to 1,500? Who's saying this on YouTube? Who is saying this on YouTube? You are. I am. Everyone in this chat, everyone in the super chat. There has to be some place in media where there's rational discussion of this. And I'll just add my 2 cents. It furthers. This increases the likelihood, the eventuality, the odds of Clinton being charged in the future for one of her many crimes. You cannot transfer top secret and special access program intelligence from SIPRNet, JWICs, and SCIFs and other secure locations within the U.S. government onto a server in a basement and then outsource that information to Platte River and Dato. You cannot do that. The DNC was not hacked by Russia to inform us that Bernie Sanders was cheated. It did not happen. It did not happen, Hillary bots. So they went at, like, a couple of people went after me today. I was like, whatever. Like, I care. I'm Trump 2020. So I want Democrats. And by the way, I want a Supreme Court that defends my Second Amendment rights. I don't want my second. I live in California. My AK is the laughingstock of the Second Amendment community. Okay? They're making fun of my AK-47. Okay? That's what I have to work with. Okay? I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want any more infringement upon no pistol grip. Okay? I like it. I like people are like, oh my God, it's a monstrosity. It works pretty good. You can go on HA Second Amendment. It works pretty good. But it's hilarious because if you live in Texas, if you live in, Wyoming or any other state, the Second Amendment community or, gun owners call them free states. And then they'll call California California, or it's just kind of funny. So, they make fun of my AK, which is hilarious. But I want a Supreme Court that is not going to, because I can tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, there are people who want to erase the Second Amendment. I'm from the left. I can tell you right now, really quickly, because I know there are people who are like, not again, HA, don't talk to your impressions. I'll get to my impressions a lot later on, but they're like, no, not again, your Second Amendment, no. But I will say this. There are people, if given the opportunity, I'm telling you, who would completely erase the Second Amendment. And they would make it so difficult even to own a revolver. They would go after semi-automatic handguns. Okay, they'd say goodbye to your Glocks, say goodbye to whatever, your CZs, whatever, your SIGs, say goodbye to all of them. Okay, anyway. So Peter Strzok worked as the leader of the rigged witch hunt for a long period of time. He got it started and was only fired because the gig was up. But remember, he took his orders from Comey and McCabe, and they took their orders from you-know-who. Mueller and Comey, best friends. They can't tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that the intelligence community is full of... They can't say that because that would be too much for government officials. So Trump is basically saying, I know we will not say goodbye, absolutely. But telling you that's one of the reasons that I'm saying I want a Second Amendment. I want a Supreme Court that defends the Second Amendment. So in that sense, I'm happy that Trump gets to pick judges. In that sense, But 1,165 people, 30 minutes in. Let's get this rolling. So, I mean, the Washington Post is like, just look, the Washington Post is basically a DNC newsletter at this point. GOP argument. See, with all due respect to the author and the Washington, they're not getting the arguments right. So the Justice Department is hiding something when it doesn't immediately hand over documents to Congress. Yeah, they are. Because if they have to redact, if they have to continually redact, and hide, well then, they're hiding. If they have continually redact information and fail to disclose information that is, what was it? One thing with a $70,000 desk. What was this about? A 70 grand desk? Gamer 49. You really need a Trump impression. My dad was telling me that, and I'm working on it, but I can't. You have no idea. I can't. You absolutely fantastic. I don't have, but you need to try. I do need a Trump impression. So Gamer 49, thank you so much for your support. Thank you. And I do need to try. I'm trying to work on it, but I just can't get it right. But thank you. Paul Espinoza, thank you. This is not hurting Russia. This is hurting America, and the American people are divided. Trey Gowdy. Absolutely. So Gamer 49, I do need a Trump. I'm trying to work on that Trump impression. Paul Espinoza, this is not hurting Russia. This is hurting America, and the American people are divided. Trey Gowdy. You're 100% right, Paul Espinoza, and thank you so much for your support of this channel. You're 100% right. It's been hurting us since John Brennan and James Clapper and James Comey thrust us into this nonsense. You're 100% right. Mr. Aussie Accent, HA, any chance Alex, the beer can, Alex, the beer can headbutter downer, being called to appear before the committee? Mr. Aussie Accent, they should. They should. Although I don't know the protocol of having people who are not U.S. citizens appear before Congress. Also, the FBI would say, well, we can't have Alexander Downer because he's a sensitive source, and the Australian intelligence community would say, and we don't want Alexander Downer with you. I call him Alexander Dumbo Downer. HA, do an impression of HA. Neil, that is awesome. I guess my impression of myself would be, hello, everyone. Thank you for watching. Wow. So that's a caricature of myself. So Neil, thank you. That's pretty awesome. If you guys want to do impressions of me, that would be fantastic. But I don't know how that would. If you have a YouTube channel, try to do an impression of me. That'd be fantastic. But Mr. Aussie Accent, he got drunk. He was just drinking shots and shots. By the way, Mr. Aussie Accent, I went ahead, and that bar in London is expensive. So he used Australian taxpayer money. Easily $400, $500 tab. Easily. So, I mean, Alexander Downer has given what? He's responsible for $88 million of Australian taxpayer money to the Clinton Foundation. Isn't that fantastic? Isn't that fantastic? Look at that. Thanks, Alexander Downer. I'm sure the people of Australia are very happy with you. Gilchi 100. Thank you. Love listening to your live chats all the way from Scotland. Thank you, Scotland. And thank you, Gilchi 100. I am very blessed to have a great many people from Scotland watching, and I'm very thankful. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. Love listening to your live chats all the way from Scotland. Thank you, Gilchi 100. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Let's go ahead and really quickly. So we got to get to my boy, Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan. This is fantastic. And then like Democrats, they don't know you can't rely on them to really understand what, winning is. So they don't really know what winning and losing is. So to them, losing is winning. So they basically said, "Oh my God, look what happened." Truth. Thank you so much. Thank you for your generosity. Truth. Thank you, Itchy, for telling the truth. Love you. Truth. Thank you so much. And I think we're all telling the truth here. I mean, we all know what's going on. You cannot fool. These people can't fool you. They can't fool me. They can't fool anyone here. We know what's going on. We all know what's going on. So truth, thank you so very much. Very, very kind of you. Thank you. We know what's going on. We know what's going on. Mr. Rosenstein, why did you withhold documents? I can't answer because it's an ongoing investigation. I can't answer because it's classified. I can't answer because I wasn't here. That was James Comey and Loretta Lynch. I can't answer because, it's, I didn't do the redacting. I can't answer because it's a FISA application, and FISA applications are by law. I can't answer. 5 ways he circumvented. 5 ways he lied to the American people and to the world. Billy Ray, I'd love to stay, but Hard Bastard's going live in 5. I love Hard Bastard, and no offense if anyone leaves to go watch Hard Bastard, he's awesome. So I love Hard Bastard. But Billy Ray, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for watching. We're 36 minutes in, and definitely subscribe to Hard Bastard, everybody. He's really awesome. I'm a big fan of Hard Bastard. I've been on a show. Like I said, I was on a live stream with him and Styx X and Hammer. Definitely subscribe to Styx. He's awesome. And I was on a show, with Styx and Hard Bastard. And I can tell you, it wasn't the 3-way I always imagined, but it was really fun nonetheless. Not the 3-way I always wished and dreamed of, but it was great nonetheless. So Truth, thank you so much. Thank you for telling the truth. Love you. Thank you, Truth. Thank you. We're going to go ahead right now. Jim Jordan. And Sniffles.
Sir, I certainly hope that your colleagues are not under that impression. That is not accurate, sir. And
it is accurate. We have caught you hiding
Mr. Chairman,
information.
can we allow the witness to answer? Mr. Chairman, point of order. We can go to Mr. Jordan's press conference and listen to him, but we came here to hear from the witness.
The time belongs to the gentleman. Mr. Rosenstein,
we allow him to answer?
So the Democrats are like, let him answer. It's like, oh my God. You're the Democratic Party. You think he's going to even an effed up looking AK is better than no AK. It's true. That is 100% true. Thank you. That is 100% true. But you think that they love Rosenstein, they love Comey, they love Clapper, they love Brennan, but all of these people are going to turn. Gina Haspel at the CIA is the key to all of this. The most important person in the intelligence community is Gina Haspel at this moment. And I'm not saying that I would have picked her. Okay, I wouldn't have picked her because of her experience with the Bush-era torture. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I'm not saying, but I'm trying to tell you that Trump is not an idiot and he's not stupid. He's a billionaire for decades for a reason. And if you think that I'm obsessed over certain things, multiply my OCD or whatever times 1,000, you get Trump. And you ever wonder why the CIA has a $15 billion budget? And now who's running the CIA? The first female CIA chief? You don't think she's beholden to Trump? You don't think slowly but surely more is going to come out? We haven't even gotten to the bottom of a whole bunch of issues, especially when they talk about how she transferred top secret intelligence. It's game over politically. But here's Jim Jordan.
Caught you hiding information.
Allow him to answer. He will be permitted to answer when Mr. Jordan.
Why do we have them here?
We'll allow him additional time to answer. Why are they not allowed to answer? The gentleman's out of order. The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Mr. Rose, let me make this one point. Then I'll let you answer.
Mr. I'd like to
make this one point,
sir,
where we've caught you hiding information. Then you can answer.
So Jim Jordan is awesome. You need more Jim Jordans. You need more people with guts who fight. Thank you. Ion Detox, thank you. Thank you. Well, we've all been saying, if you watch this channel, we've all been saying this is going to come to this, you know, it's all happening now. What I've been saying for 3 years and what you've been saying, it's all unraveling before us. I can't answer it's classified. I can't answer it's an ongoing investigation. I can't answer it's a FISA application that's illegal. I can't answer I don't do the redacting. I can't answer I wasn't here. It was James Comey, Loretta Lynch. 5 ways to, you know, that song like, how many ways to leave your lover? But 5 ways to not answer protocol through protocol and bureaucracy. Haspel can thrash Brennan. Absolutely. Absolutely. Brennan has Twitter now. That's it. That's it. And whatever contacts he's made.
Why did you hide the fact that Peter Strzok and Judge Contreras were friends? Why did you redact that in the documents you gave to us? Judge Contreras is kind of important. FISA court judge. More importantly, just as importantly, the judge that heard Mike Flynn's case. Why'd you try to hide that from us?
Mr. Jordan, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity.
I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. Don't even start that way. Just go and answer. You don't appreciate. You're lying. You hate Jim Jordan. You don't have to go there. There's no use for pleasantries when you hate somebody. That's stupid. It's actually more honorable and civil to just not say that because you don't mean it.
You respond. I've heard you make those sort of allegations publicly on TV.
I got it right here.
Mr. Chairman, he should be given the opportunity. Now, Mr. Jordan,
It's redacted.
I am the Deputy Attorney General of the United States. Okay? I'm not the person doing the redacting.
I'm not the person doing the redacting? I'm not the person doing the redacting? Well, who asked you if you were the person that you're doing the redacting? We didn't ask you that. He didn't ask you that. He didn't ask you that. He said, where were the documents? Where were the documents? He didn't ask you. He didn't ask you about the redacting, buddy. He didn't ask you about the redacting. No, 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 no. No redacting, no redacting. He asked about the documents. Let's go there again.
Mr. Jordan, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to respond. I've heard you make those sort of allegations publicly on TV.
I got it right here.
Mr. Chairman, he should be given the opportunity. Now, Mr. Jordan,
It's redacted.
I am the Deputy Attorney General of the United States. Okay? I'm not the person doing the redacting.
I'm not the person doing the redacting. What great leadership. It's not my fault. It's my subordinates' fault. It's the people I'm overseeing. If only they would redact. If only we found markers that they could use to redact faster. It's very difficult to find markers to redact. It's very difficult to find a computer program to redact information. It's not my fault, but I am the Deputy Attorney General. And I allowed a Mueller investigation without a predicate crime, without even an accusation of criminal behavior from Trump, based on Comey's memos that were gossip, complete gossip, and oh, by the way, classified intelligence because they were gossip pertaining to information derived from conversations, private conversations with the President of the United States of America. And I'm Rod Rosenstein. I am the person who set up the Mueller probe. And Mueller wants to get Trump for obstruction of justice pertaining to, oh, I'm Rod Rosenstein. I told Trump to fire Comey. So I'm Rod Rosenstein. I told Trump to fire Comey, while at the same time hiring somebody who wants to indict Trump for firing Comey. I'm Rod Rosenstein. I'm the Deputy Attorney General. Isn't that fantastic?
I'm responsible for responding to your concerns as I have. I have a team with me, sir. It's just a fraction of the team that's doing this work. And whenever you brought issues to my attention, I have taken appropriate steps to remedy them. So your statement that I'm personally keeping information from you, trying to conceal information.
You're the boss, Mr. Rosenstein.
That's correct. And my job is to make sure that we respond to your concerns. We have, sir. Now, I've appointed Mr. Lausch, who is...
We have, sir. We just haven't given you the documents on time, but we've responded. See how that works? Ladies and gentlemen, do you see how that works? I want you to know the beauty of this. We've responded. Well, did you respond with what we wanted? No. We did respond, though. Oh, okay. So you responded, but you didn't give us the documents. Yes, we did not give you the documents, but we responded. Oh, okay.
Managing that production, my understanding is that...
Rosenstein has a nice tie. I don't know. I like his tie. I hate to say that since he annoys me so much, but the tie is very nice. Jim Jordan has a nice tie also.
Actually going very well, sir. So I appreciate your concerns.
Again, I think the House of Representatives is going to say otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. The House of Representatives did say otherwise. The House of Representatives did say otherwise. There's a resolution for you, buddy. Resolution. Next is contempt of Congress. Next is impeachment. You want to keep your job? You want to keep your job supervising those 100,000 plus people? And by the way, they say, well, you know, if Rosenstein goes, then, you know, then there still has to be a confirmation process. No, there's an interim, and the interim then fires Mueller. Simple.
Your use of this to attack me personally.
Why did you? I thought it was the point of order, Mr. Chairman.
You're used to this. Your use of this to attack me personally is deeply wrong. No, Rosenstein. No, Mr. Rosenstein. It's not that. It has nothing to do with personal. Well, if you're personally dragging your feet by blaming people below you, then that's a problem. That's a problem. But let's go on.
May the witness be permitted to
answer the question? It's not personal.
The gentleman will suspend. The witness is going to have an opportunity to say whatever he wants at the end of Mr. Jordan's 5 minutes. Until the
it is not
those
personal.
5 minutes, they're his time.
I appreciate your service. It's not personal. We just want the information. Why did you tell Peter Strzok not to answer our questions yesterday? When I asked Peter Strzok if he'd ever communicated with Glenn Simpson, he gave us the answer. He gave us dozens of times on advice of FBI counsel. I can't answer that question. Why couldn't he answer that question?
Mr. Jordan, I appreciate your sincere concerns, but I didn't give Peter Strzok any instructions. If there was some problem with the instructions he had, I'll be happy to look into it.
Not with his FBI lawyer.
I didn't give Peter Strzok any instructions. I didn't give Peter Strzok any instructions. Well, then who gave Peter Strzok instructions? Well, it was an FBI attorney. They asked Christopher Wray. He said, well, I wasn't there. Nobody knows anything. Nobody knows anything. But, oh, by the way, oh, Rowdy Piper. I love Rowdy Piper. Joseph Arbuckle. He was one of my favorite WWF wrestlers. Love Rowdy Piper. Love him. Macho Man. I can do, my voice is, my throat is, but I could do Macho Man. One day I'll do Macho Man. Oh, yeah. Can't do it. But I could do a Macho Man. But let's continue.
Mr. Jordan, when you find some problem with a production or with questions, it doesn't mean that I'm personally trying to conceal something from you. It means we're running an organization that's trying to follow the rules, and we're going to respond.
What was interesting, when I asked him if he'd ever talked to Bruce Orr, he said he had. Said he had 3 times in 2016 and 2017. Then I asked him, have you ever talked to Nellie Orr? And he said, no, I haven't. I said, well, why can you answer that question? Because Nellie Orr worked for Glenn Simpson, worked for Fusion. He could answer that question, but he couldn't answer because FBI counsel told him he couldn't. He couldn't answer the question whether he ever communicated with Glenn Simpson. a journalist? Why couldn't he answer that question?
Mr. Jordan, I appreciate you saying it isn't personal. Sometimes it feels that way. How do I know, sir?
How do I know, sir?
Answer, because FBI counsel told him he couldn't. He couldn't answer the question whether he'd ever communicated with Glenn Simpson, a journalist. Why couldn't he answer that question?
Mr. Jordan, I appreciate you saying it isn't personal. Sometimes it feels that way.
Who cares how it feels, buddy? Honestly, who cares how it feels? It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about the American people. We know that Peter Strzok lied. We know that James Comey, Andrew McCabe, all of them were implicated in covering up Clinton's crimes. Clinton's a walking criminal. James Comey said that she used a server outside the United States government, transferred top secret intelligence, all for her Clinton Foundation. We have no idea what she did with the classified intelligence, and what we do know is that it was sent to Anthony Weiner's computer. So that's what we do know. 18 classified emails were sent to Anthony Weiner's computer. We also know that Platte River and Dado Inc. had her emails. We also know that Peter Strzok stated, let's stop Trump, and then the Mueller probe started. The whole thing was a charade on both ends. The Mueller probe is an absolute charade. There's no evidence of anything. It's not even a predicate crime. The DNC never gave its service to the FBI. They have zero evidence of anything. James Clapper already told Chuck Todd many times, there's no evidence. Bible or traditions, thank you. Rosenstein is eyeing the director of the Space Force. I know I'd like to see him in orbit. Exactly. Bible or traditions, yes. I mean, thank you so much for your continued support of this channel. He is a space cadet, absolutely. He is a space cadet, absolutely. So Bible or traditions, thank you so much for your continued support. I mean, the thing is, there's so many lies. It's just unbelievable. But this is all slowly, this like cat and mouse game, this slow cat and mouse game. It's just, everyone knows what's happening. So it's not like they're fooling anyone. They're not fooling anyone. Everyone knows what is taking place. Let's continue.
What do I know, sir? I mean, you interviewed Mr. Strzok. I didn't, so I can't.
Works for you. Doesn't work for us.
There are 115,000 people who work for me, sir.
There are 115,000. Look at this guy. This guy is amazing. There are 115,000 people who work. Truth. Thank you. Thank you, Truth. Thank you again, Truth, for your generosity. Thank you. Hashtag MAGA, hashtag KAG, hashtag Trump 2020, hashtag Truth Tellers. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Just unbelievable. Thank you so much, Truth. Thank you again, Truth. So, everyone, there's 116,000 people who work for me. And, by the way, Strzok is just like the intern at the DOJ from college. Strzok was the guy who deleted 5 references to gross negligence. Strzok was the guy who told his lover, he's not going to become president, right? No, honey, I'm the lumberjack. No, we'll stop Trump. Could you imagine if we said we'll stop Clinton? There would be outrage. The Washington Post would never stop. This is Rod Rosenstein. I can't believe it.
Personal. Sometimes it feels that way. How do I know, sir? I mean, you interviewed Mr. Strzok. I didn't, so I can't.
Works for you. Doesn't work for us.
There are 115,000 people who work for me, sir.
Mr. Rosenstein, did you threaten staff?
There are 115,000 people who work for me. So, Truth, thank you again. And I just want to just thank you again. It's just unbelievable what's taking place. But it's, in the end of the day, it's good. So hashtag MAGA, Trump 2020, Truth Tellers. Thank you, Truth.
On the House Intelligence Committee, media reports indicate you did.
Media reports are mistaken.
Sometimes, but this is what they said. Having the nation's
media reports are mistaken, but Steele dossier allegations that are complete gossip are not mistaken. Comey memos are not mistaken. Is that how it works? Media reports are mistaken. Media reports are mistaken. Keep America great again. So I'm like, it's a hashtag keep America great. So Truth, thank you. Hashtag keep America great. We have 1,156 people on this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep this going. Let people know. Share this segment with people. Share this segment with everyone on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, so Truth, thank you again. Very, very kind of you. Thank you. Hashtag make America great again. Keep America great. Trump 2020. Truth Tellers. Thank you, Truth. Thank you. We are... It's just, you know, it's actually, this will eventually lead to some type of charge against Clinton, criminal charge. You can't continue. It's not sustainable to continually commit crimes. It's not relative. Trump is not just as much of a criminal as Clinton. It's not just the same thing. When Bernie Sanders was cheated, they said, well, get over it. That's just the politics. And we have a bigger fish to fry. No, it's not. No, it's not. It wasn't. That's not the case. Say what you like about Bernie. I think he's a great human being. I'm very disappointed that he just rolled over and kissed Hillary's ring. That was an open wound, a deep wound that will never heal until that will never get cured or heal until they admit what they did. The DNC was never hacked. And now you have Democrats who are trying to attack Julian Assange and influence Ecuador to end the asylum status. And you wonder, and people wonder why I'm Trump 2020. That's one of the big reasons. Because that's how a lot of WikiLeaks supporters don't agree with me. You know, I'm sure they don't agree with me. But that's my way. That's my way politically of reacting to Democrats trying to harm Julian Assange. Also, peace between North and South Korea, exposing people like Rod Rosenstein or James Comey or James Clapper, Andrew McCabe, all of them. Sally Moyer, FBI, who's married to Agent 1, who, by the way, was with Peter Strzok when they were interviewing Hillary. And then they asked Agent 1, and he said, oh, I interviewed the future president. No, I am not a socialist. But Bernie Sanders is not really a socialist. He's a democratic socialist. But the thing is, like, I mean, that whole thing, no, I'm not a socialist. And I would not vote for a socialist. In fact, when I was writing for articles about Bernie Sanders, I stated many times I wouldn't vote for a socialist. But, you know, that's a whole other story.
Number one law enforcement officer threatened to subpoena your calls and emails is downright chilling. Did you threaten to subpoena their calls and emails?
No, sir, and there's no way to subpoena phone calls.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. I'm reading what the press said. I'm reading what the press said.
I would suggest that you not rely on what the press says, sir.
Well, I didn't.
So there is a way to subpoena phone calls, and he's lying through his teeth. Silence do good. Thank you. Rosenstein used an HRC ploy, or you're just being mean to me personal. He used that other device to buy time. Very true. Very true, Silence do good. Very, very, very true. Very true. And it was a very vapid ploy on Rosenstein's part. It was a very vapid ploy also. It was, oh, you're being mean to me and you can't subpoena phone calls. Yes, you can. Of course you can subpoena records. Patty Williamson, do you realize how strong you are to begin as a D and still compliment Bernie? Bernie was cheated. H.A. Rare Breed, thank you. I used to be an R. I, too, will always love my original grand old party. Well, thank you. Thank you, Patty Williamson. Thank you, Patty Williamson. I think that... thank you, Patty. Very kind of you. And Silence Do Good, Patty Williamson, Truth, thank you again. But Patty, you know, I think that when you realize that a political party and people on social media are really part of a cult, and the cult is surrounding two very, very immoral people in Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, and you realize that they're not after truth, and they're not even after winning. They want their cake and they want to eat it too. They're not after winning. They're not after, you know, actual policies. What's taking place is they wanted to win with Clinton, which is like, you know, wanting to win a football game with, you know, 6 players instead of 11 players. Or, you know, no offensive line. We were never going to win with Clinton. She was a horrible candidate. She lost to President Obama. She lost to Bernie Sanders, really, in the primary. People say, oh, she got 4 million more votes. She had every single advantage from day one, and she squandered all of it. It had to be a contested convention. Noam Chomsky states that if it wasn't for the shenanigans, of the Democratic Party, that Bernie would have won. But John Huber, I mean, look, John Huber is a walking special counsel. But all of this is leading to more political momentum against Comey, more political momentum leading to a special counsel, leading to indictments, leading to Andrew McCabe getting indicted, all these things.
Did you threaten to subpoena their calls and emails?
No, sir, and there's no way to subpoena phone calls.
Yes, there is, buddy. You're trying to be slick. There's a way to subpoena phone calls and phone records. And if you tape the calls, then the recordings of calls. So now I mean, that was a quick, Jim Jordan could have easily said, there's no way to subpoena phone records. There's no way to subpoena. So yeah, there's no way to subpoena a phone call of a person who is speaking without it being recorded, because then you'd have to go back in time. It would be some kind of quantum physics phenomenon. I don't know what Rosenstein was getting at that moment. He was trying to go ahead and just say, oh, you know, I'm smarter than you. But at the same time, you have people on the left, or, you know, journalists are saying, oh, well, and then I just, you know, started tweeting out. I'm like, look, you know what? You can subpoena phone calls. And he meant phone records, or he meant taped calls, or whatever. And you don't think Rosenstein is the type of guy, oh, I have 130,000 people under me. I have 130,000 people. I have 130,000 people. I think it's personal. That type of guy lashes back, lashes out, uses his post. These people are very petty, and they're very enamored with power. And they're very enamored with process and power and bureaucracy, and they hide behind their desks, and they hide behind their labels, and they hide behind the authority given to them by the United States government. And the authority given to the United States government is the Constitution and the United States, the people of the United States. We give them the authority to be high and mighty, and you know, and say with such pride and arrogance and hubris, oh, well, you know, I oversee over 113 or 130,000 people. Strzok, I have no idea. Strzok is not one of the 113,000 people. I would have said that. Strzok was a guy who deleted 5 references to gross negligence. And he did so because he wanted to make sure Clinton would win. That's when Kevin Kleinsmith said, I wish there was more we could do. When Strzok says, I can save our country on many levels, he knew exactly what he was doing. Maria Aguirre always appreciated Assange's honesty, desire to expose crime. A Trump supporter since 2015. Trump will defend Assange. Both are courageous. Maria, thank you. And I get that feeling as well. So Maria, thank you. Thank you, Maria. I get that feeling as well. Like, I get the feeling that, when Trump's DOJ says, oh, well, we got to, when they say something against WikiLeaks, they're playing ball with the quote unquote intelligence community. But I do get the feeling that Maria, that Trump is a lot more favorable to WikiLeaks. Becky Valentine. Thank you, Becky Valentine. Thank you. Thank you, Becky Valentine. Thank you so much. Maria, I agree with you. I agree with you. That's one of the reasons I'm voting for Trump. One of the reasons I wouldn't vote for Trump is if, God forbid, Julian Assange is extradited or anything like that. But thank you, everybody. Thank you, William. Thank you, everybody. We still have 1,073 people watching, and it's 1 hour in. But let's continue this madness with Rosenstein and Jordan.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm reading what the press said.
I would suggest that you not rely on what the press says, sir.
Well, I didn't ask if there's no way to do it. I asked if you said it.
I said what?
What I just read you.
No, I did not.
Well, now, who are we supposed to believe? Staff members who we've worked with, who've never misled us, or you guys, who we've caught hiding information from us, who tell a witness not to answer our questions? Who are we supposed to believe?
Thank you for making clear it's not personal, Mr. Jordan.
Thank you for making clear it's not personal. Look, and this is exactly like, stated in the super chat. Who cares if you think it's personal? Rod Rosenstein, the reason that it would be personal is because nobody understands why the same guy who told Trump to fire Comey is also the same guy who hired Mueller to indict Trump on firing Comey, which is hilarious because Trump can fire, whomever he wants in the executive branch. That's within the Constitution. It's also an obvious cover-up. That's why people don't like Rosenstein. So then when you get to the heart of the matter, it's an obvious cover-up. So, it's an obvious cover-up. That's pretty much what the deal is. Just an obvious cover. No, they're not hiding anything from anybody. They're not hiding anything. We know what's going on.
Well, I'm saying the Department of Justice.
Because I'm telling the truth and I'm under oath. If you want to put somebody else under oath and they have something different,
I know these staff members.
Respond.
Here's my last question. What's so important that you know that you don't want us to know, that you won't give us the documents we're asking for, that the House of Representatives is about ready to go on record saying you should give us? What's so darn important that you will threaten members, at least according to media reports and according to the staff members, threaten members?
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Chairman.
What is so important, Mr. Rosenstein?
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Chairman.
This is not an appropriate time for a parliamentary inquiry.
And point of order. The gentleman keeps representing that the House of Representatives. Yes, it will be. The Republicans who continue
That is not an appropriate point of order.
Well, he needs to be correct in his statement.
The time of the gentleman will be restored.
The members of the Republican Party.
The gentleman will suspend. The time of the gentleman from Ohio will be restored for another additional 15 seconds, and then the Deputy Attorney General will be allowed to respond.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Rosenstein,
So, it's It's that, I mean, that's the thing. It's all this theater and games just to help Hillary Clinton. Really, that's what this is all about. Clinton committed crimes. They pumped $1.2 billion into her campaign. James Comey and James Clapper and John Brennan were all in on it. They hate Trump. They used a dossier that has zero evidence. A dossier. It's a gossip. It's gossip. They used not even the National Enquirer. They used gossip. You couldn't get fired from work on gossip. If you did, then you would go ahead and sue. Nobody should believe gossip and hearsay. And you certainly shouldn't start an investigation on gossip and hearsay. But the five different ways, it's classified. Oh my goodness, it's a FISA application. Oh, well, I didn't do the redacting. Oh, I wasn't there. And what was the other one? I can't comment on ongoing investigations. So Wray, I'm not so worried about. Wray doesn't really get me too, because Wray is a Trump pick. And Christopher Wray would not have been chosen. Gina Haspel would not have been chosen. Pompeo would not have been chosen. General Nakasone would not have been chosen. Trump completely wrestled the intelligence community away from Democrats, just completely and utterly. And they would not have been chosen were it not for, very likely, almost certainly, them saying, hey, you know what, we'll go ahead and we'll play ball with you, Trump. Patty Williamson, thank you. Thank you, Patty Williamson. Thank you. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Patty Williamson.
Ray, I do appreciate your work, but I'd also appreciate if the House of Representatives could get the information. We have repeatedly, Mr. Gowdy talked about how long this investigation is going on, how long there's been a special counsel. We started asking for information in July of last year, and some of that is still has not been given to the Congress, still has been given to this committee, the committee charged with defending the Judiciary Committee. So I appreciate what you do. I just want the information, and we're so frustrated that there is now a resolution on the floor of the House in just a few minutes that will be voted on.
Time of the gentleman has expired. Mr. Rosenstein will be allowed to respond.
I don't have any control over what resolutions you vote on, sir, and
I know you don't.
to do that.
The gentleman will suspend it. The time now is the Attorney General's.
If you're interested in the truth, Mr. Jordan, the truth is we have a team of folks. They're Trump appointees and career folks.
We have a team of folks. They're Trump appointees and career folks. William Sarakan, HA, please never stop. You are an eloquent orator. You are very honest and a true journalist with integrity. Thank you, William. That's very, very kind of you. And I greatly appreciate that. And it makes me feel, very good that I have, you watching and everyone else watching and saying just the nicest things, and it makes me feel really good. So I appreciate that. Thank you, William. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. HA, please never stop. You are an eloquent orator. You are very honest and a true journalist with integrity. Thank you. Thank you again, William. That's very kind of you. William Sarakan, thank you. Thank you. Rosenstein, well, let's just finish it up with Rosenstein here.
And they're doing their best to produce these documents. Director Wray explained to you the process. He's got hundreds of people working.
We have the process. You're just going to have to deal with the process. We have a process, and you can go ahead and interview someone else. I'm telling you the truth. This is about a process. This is about a process. And the process and the bureaucracy is not going to defend and protect Hillary. I'm telling you, whether it's the Espionage Act or whether it's the campaign finance reform, whether it's the emails on Weiner's laptop, whether it's the NYPD patriots within the FBI, the NYPD, or the patriots in the New York field office, whether it's the ongoing Clinton Foundation probe that's taking place now in Little Rock and other cities, whether it's the internal DOJ email probe that's ongoing, whether it's Comey's investigation for his memos, it's all going to lead back to Clinton committing criminal crimes. There are now lawsuits regarding Clinton's campaign finance violations. There's now a lawsuit against the Clinton Foundation by Gary Byrne. There are endless lawsuits by Judicial Watch and Tom Fitton. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. In when you talk about environmentalism, there's the concept of sustainable development. You can't go ahead and just build, continue to dump sewage and not expect it to get into the groundwater and all that stuff, and you just can't, sustain that type of environment. It's not sustainable. So, you have to develop something that doesn't destroy the planet. This political system is destroying America, and the political system is not sustainable. The same system that Hillary Clinton created with Bill Clinton, this Democratic Party that runs on euphemism and neoconservative foreign policy, specifically regime change. You cannot have a political party that pretends to be the most compassionate party with a president who deported 2.5 million people, 2.5 million people. If you deport 2.5 million people, then sorry, you can't claim that you are, infinitely better. And then also, by the way, if there's a Senate report saying that because you gave to caregivers on the border, children were actually handed over to child traffickers or human traffickers. That's in human traffickers. That is in New York Magazine. New York Magazine and the New York Times. So that article I retweeted got like 1,000-something retweets. And New York Magazine report: Obama administration handed child migrants over to human traffickers. So at the end of the day, Rod Rosenstein that's New York Magazine, very reputable. Rod Rosenstein is saying, oh, well, it's a process, and if we're slow, too bad. That's just the process. I'm hiding behind the process. I'm hiding behind people who are below me. I'm hiding behind my subordinates.
Working around the clock, trying to satisfy these requests. So whether you vote or not is not going to affect it. You're going to get everything that's relevant that we can find and produce to you. I support this report, sir. I'm not trying to hide anything from you.
Chair recognized.
So he supports the report, the IG report. The IG report talks about how decisions that Strzok made were biased. Strzok was the most important person on the whole investigation. He flew to London with Brennan and Andrew McCabe for a reason. Why did he fly to London? Why did he fly to London? And when you talk about, there's Gowdy is just hilarious. It's amazing. He said, finish the hell up. I'll say finish the heck up, but this is actually, the last couple of minutes is fantastic. Check this out. This is unbelievable. This is wonderful.
Those text messages. And nobody is more offended than I about what's reflected in those messages.
Nobody is more offended than I. However, I'm not going to do anything about them. Nobody is more offended than I that Peter Strzok would say, stop Trump. Nobody is more offended than I that Peter Strzok would say, well, I spoke to about an insurance policy with Andrew McCabe in his office. It's come to the point, ladies and gentlemen, where the actual conspiracy is written down by the conspirators. And yet still, Rosenstein and Wray and all of them are hiding behind bureaucracy. This cat and mouse game is not going to last forever. And like I said, eventually the walls will close in and either Bill and Hillary, definitely Hillary, will eventually be charged with a crime. You can't continue. You can't continue all of this nonsense. You can't continue all of this nonsense because, like I keep saying, it's not sustainable. But here's Trey Gowdy.
With regard to the investigation,
or Rod Rosenstein.
I've heard suggestions that we should just close the investigation. I think the best thing we can do is finish it appropriately and reach a conclusion. And I certainly agree with you, sir. People should not jump to conclusions without seeing the evidence. I've been the victim of fake news attacks myself, so I'm sympathetic. I agree with you, sir, that there's been no allegation made by the Department of Justice or the special counsel other than what's reflected in those documents that are filed publicly. The charge, folks. Nobody should draw any conclusions beyond those charges.
So he's saying, well, nobody should draw any conclusions about Trump. But that's not how this thing works. Rosenstein threatened to subpoena staffers' text and emails, not calls. Exactly. Exactly. So when, let's say, you know, when Jeff Sessions is like, can you believe Rod Rosenstein? He threatened to subpoenas, multiple subpoenas on texts and calls, or texts and emails. Not calls, although you could if you wanted to. Recorded calls. Exactly. So Jeff Poisson, thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you very much. Very true. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, you know, Rosenstein could threaten all he wants. Let's go ahead. Let's continue. Oh, Lord.
Because this country has been wrongdoing by any member.
So Trey Gowdy just had the best political diatribe. It was just fantastic. It really, really was really good. And so here's Trey Gowdy.
Of the Trump campaign, present it to the damn grand jury. If you have evidence that this president acted inappropriately, present it to the American people. There's an old saying that justice delayed is justice denied. I think right now all of us are being denied. Whatever you got, finish it the hell up, because this country is being torn apart. I would yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Whatever you got, finish it the hell up, because this country is being torn apart. And again, it's all for Hillary Clinton. And I can't stress it enough. It's all for the Democratic Party. It's all because she cheated. She lost $1.2 billion. This is about donors, not about anything else but donors. It's about a money laundering system called the Democratic Party. Makes Tammany Hall look like the teacup ride at Disneyland. She lost $1.2 billion. She outspent Trump 2-1. She had every single major publication and media company, almost every single media company backing her. She had but they cheated Bernie. Then they made Bernie acquiesce to them. And it's just, you know, it's the type of thing where everybody knows what's taking place and everybody knows the reason. But people think, well, you know, this is just politics. It's not just politics. This is completely unique. This is an anomaly in American history. We're essentially being held hostage by Bill and Hillary Clinton. It's all about them. It's all about the fact that she committed crimes. They didn't charge her with those crimes. And to make everything morally relative, they fabricated this nonsense that Trump worked with Russia to hack the DNC to let us know how evil they were in cheating Bernie Sanders. Makes no sense at all, but it makes perfect sense to Democrats. All right, let's go ahead and let's listen to Gowdy again.
Impeachment before Bob Mueller wrong for the health of this republic got animus towards the person they were.
So he just goes, it's just unbelievable. Let's just go and listen to this because he's absolutely fantastic. He is absolutely fantastic. Trey Gowdy.
Investigation. We're a year and a half into the presidency. We're over a year into special counsel. You have a counterintelligence investigation that's become public. You have a criminal investigation that's become political. You have more bias than I have ever seen manifest in a law enforcement officer in the 20 years I used to do it for a living. And 4 other DOJ employees who had manifest animus towards the person they were supposed to be neutrally and detachedly investigating. Democrats are using this investigation as a presumption of guilt, which I find astonishing. And in the long run, for the health of this republic, I would encourage them to go back to the presumption of innocence that we used to hold sacred.
So the problem that Gowdy is making here, and it's a beautiful, beautiful speech. The problem that he's making is that he's too deferential. He's being too civil with the Democratic Party, and he's being too reverent of the intelligence community. Russia never hacked the DNC, so they can't say, nobody can say that because, oh my God, it's so horrible. We know from William Binney, NSA legend, Ray McGovern, NSA CIA legend. Brilliant journalist Elizabeth Voss of Disobedient Media, Adam Carter, the forensicator, two brilliant cybersecurity analysts. We know that they didn't even give their servers to the FBI. They used CrowdStrike. This, when in the history of this time period is written, and all of this comes crashing down, and we finally find out all the corrupt people. Because again, you cannot. Nixon was more powerful than a lot more powerful than both Clintons. Well, I should say Hillary. Maybe Bill is the source of all of this. Well, yeah, Nixon was more powerful, and he was taken down by corruption. You can't be that corrupt all the time. There's going to be a crack. There's going to be somebody that turns. There's going to be something you do. And if you just, play with fire that often, eventually you'll get burned. And eventually you'll, criminals continue that are sloppy and that continue to commit crimes always eventually get caught. And what Comey is doing right now is he's saying, well, let's presume Trump is innocent. Why are we assuming that he's guilty? And then Rod Rosenstein is saying, well, I agree, and I don't think anyone should look into anything Mueller is doing and assume that Trump is guilty. But so Georgie Alvarez, Hillary needs to go to jail. Absolutely. So Georgie, I agree 100% with you. I don't know if she'll ever go to jail, but I think she'll be charged with a crime. And once that happens, it'll be official. She's a criminal. It'll be finally official. It's already official, but Democrats won't be able to, say otherwise. But let's continue.
There's a presumption of guilt. There's a desire by Democrat senators to fundraise off of your investigation. More than 60 Democrats have already voted to proceed with impeachment before Bob Mueller has found a single solitary damn thing. More than 60. And
that's the thing also. Impeachment was always about if you committed a crime, not if you don't like somebody. Well, we need to impeach this president. Well, for what? Did Rosenstein capture a call of Sessions trying to buy a pie from Oh, my goodness. Bible or traditions, I can't go there, but I'll do a Sessions. I'll do a Sessions right now. I'll just do. Hello, Mr. President. How are you today? It was a fantastic day. They lied through their teeth. Rosenstein and Wray. I haven't seen this much. Milli Vanilli is more authentic than Rosenstein and Wray today. They were lip syncing lies. Yes, I can't believe it. Sniffles, yeah, I call them sniffles. Sniffle, 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 sniffle. Yes. Well, I know. Well, you know what? We're going to get him. We got to get him in contempt. Go ahead and get him in impeach Rosenstein. Why not? All right, sir. Poo-poo out. Gotta go. All right, thank you. Bye. So Bible traditions try to give you something, but yeah. Rosenstein is Shandon Banning. Thank you for your honest work. Thank you, Shandon. Thank you. I hope I'm pronouncing your first name correctly. It's a beautiful name. And Shandon Banning, thank you. Thank you, Shandon. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shandon Banning and Bible Traditions. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have 1,112 people, and we're going on 2 hours in this live stream. Thank you, Shandon Banning. Thank you. All right, so let's just continue with Rosenstein.
Have voted to move forward with impeachment, and he hasn't presented his first finding. So I'm going to say this to you, Mr. Wray, Mr. Rosenstein. I realize that neither one of you were there when this happened, but you're both there now. Russia attacked this country. They should be the target, but...
See, Russia didn't attack this country. I mean, Trey Gowdy's wrong on that. How did Russia attack the country? Oh, they say through a social media campaign with $46,000 worth of Facebook ads. And how many votes did that influence? How about 0? $81 million combined between Hillary and $81 million combined between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump in 2016, and they're worried about $46,000 worth of pre-election Facebook ads and Twitter bots. Twitter is a place that if you hear a contrary viewpoint, you battle to the death for your viewpoint. P. Dennis Gray, Gowdy is on SCOTUS, must be balanced. Trey Gowdy for a Supreme Court pick. Gowdy is on SCOTUS, must be balanced. P. Dennis Gray, it'll be interesting who Trump picks. If you're saying that you think perhaps Trey Gowdy would be a pick, perhaps I'm not 100% sure. I think it'd be a good pick. I mean, if you ask me, if you want it to be, I think it'd be a very good pick. I think Gowdy would be a very good pick, actually. Idiotic tirades. Yes. That is awesome. Sessions for it's awesome. We have 1,102 people. Let's continue.
Russia isn't being hurt by this investigation right now.
But Russia isn't being hurt at all by anything. They got 20% of U.S. uranium capacity from President Obama. It's so absurd. All of this is so absurd. We're worried about $46,000 of pre-election Facebook ads, and Obama's administration, along with Clinton, cash flowed to Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal. That's the verbatim New York Times article. That's not a conspiracy. That's the verbatim New York Times article. And Ross Story wrote a hit piece on me, and they said, oh, well, he's spreading lies about Clinton. I'm quoting the New York Times. If you're insulting them, then write a hit piece on them. There's no evidence that she was. There's no evidence. There's actually a lot more circumstantial evidence than anything to do with Trump Russia. The money flowed into her foundation from Uranium One officials. Yellowcake uranium was shipped out of the country. There were people indicted regarding bribery and racketeering on U.S. soil of a Russian energy executive. Bill Clinton met with Putin. He got a $500,000 speech from Moscow. when I say it's not sustainable, the great Christopher Hitchens, a big inspiration to me. The great Christopher Hitchens exposed the Clintons decades ago. Both Clintons, decades ago. Kristen Hart, first-time live viewer, while live, first-time donating. Thank you, Kristen. Love watching you. My last name rhymes with party. Oh, Party Hardy. Yes, Kristen Hardy. Thank you. So, that's good. You corrected me because I initially pronounced it wrong. But Kristen Hardy, thank you so much for watching. Very, very kind of you. Thank you so much, Kristen Hardy. Party Hardy. Yes. Hashtag Party Hardy. I like that. Thank you, Kristen Hardy. Thank you so much. Christopher Hitchens was one of the great statesmen, American statesmen, even though he's from England. And he was just such a fantastic voice. He would have eviscerated Hillary Clinton. He would have been such a voice for truth. He would have destroyed the Trump-Russia nonsense. And he would have ripped Democrats a new one for the Clinton email probe. He would have explained exactly what's taking place with the Clinton Foundation. He would have explained exactly what took place with the server and the emails, servers, and the transferring the top secret intelligence, all of that. Hitchens was just a powerful, beautiful volcano, like just this force of nature. I like Richard Dawkins, but I mean, he's not even, there's no comparison in terms of like charisma, in terms of like being a force of nature. Hitchens was just amazing. He could say things and get away with things, but it wasn't, he would also obliterate social justice warriors on Twitter. There would be a movement against Hitchens, and he would just kick all their behinds. The problem is the world doesn't have any more Hunter S. Thompsons or Christopher Hitchens or any of these people anymore to add like poetry or to add this kind of common sense, cold, hard reality to the intellectual debate or to the intelligentsia. The smartest people in the room nowadays are just happen to be the biggest hypocrites in the room. So they really hate words. If you say something bad, oh my God. But if President Obama deports 2.5 million people, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it at all. That's why, like Christopher Hitchens, he wasn't left or right. Very like George Orwell, he wasn't left or right. He was just himself, just basic logic. You could not pin George Orwell as a left or right. Hitchens was pure Vulcan. Joseph Arbuckle, pure Vulcan. You need somebody nowadays like Christopher Hitchens. Thank you, Ford patron. Thank you. Jamie Sullivan. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Jamie Sullivan. I'll do my Rosenstein impression. Sniffle, sniffle. I'm sorry you feel that way. Sorry you feel that way. I want to let you know. Well, it feels personal. It feels sniffle, sniffle. It feels really personal. I want to let you know that I don't do the redacting. Jim Jordan, I do not do the redacting. Sniffles. I could do a better one, but you know, that's like I said. What are the five? If I can remember the five. It's classified. It's an ongoing investigation. I can't comment on FISA warrants. I don't do the redacting. And that was James Comey and Loretta Lynch. I wasn't there. Yes. The 5 ways Rosenstein and Wray circumvented logic and reason. So we're going on 2 hours. We got 1,010 people on this live stream, and we're going on 2 hours. We're going on 2 hours.
We are. This country is being hurt by it. We are being divided. We've seen the bias. We've seen the bias. We need to see the evidence. If you have evidence of wrongdoing by any member of the Trump campaign, present it to the damn grand jury. If you have evidence that this president acted inappropriately, present it to the American people. There's an old saying that justice delayed is justice denied. I think right now all of us are being denied.
What Gowdy, he does a great job, but he forgets to say is that there was this rebuttal from Eric Swalwell, as a Democrat from California. And what he said was, well, have you ever had the subject of an unindicted subject of an investigation given evidence? And they're like, well, no, we haven't. That is such an absurd and such a deceptive question that alters the reality of the situation, that manipulates the reality of the situation. What that Democrat and other Democrats are trying to say is, well, you can't give evidence because he's the subject of a criminal probe. No, no, no. You need to give evidence of a crime. So you need to give evidence of a crime. You cannot just investigate forever without evidence of a crime. That you need evidence of a crime. So that's what it's not evidence of, okay, well, somebody robbed the bank and let's go ahead and we're going to let them know that we have his fingerprints and we have his car and we have other people. No, no, no. Did he rob a bank? Was there a bank robbed? Was there a bank robbed? Sorry, I'll do reading. I'll do my Peter Strzok. It's bad enough. It's bad enough that I get paid and I don't have enough money to shop anywhere else but Walmart. But I'm stuck with the smelly Trump supporters. Smelly, smelly Trump supporters. They smell like jock supporters. And I can just tell you right now that I was not biased when I said I hate Strzok. I hate Trump. I was not biased when I said I want to stop Trump. I was not biased when I talked about an insurance policy that said we have to talk about Russia. I was not biased when I said Trump was an idiot. I was not biased when I said that I wish Trump would go into Space Force One and become head of Space Force, and we can maybe shoot him off into the galaxy, into a black hole, or maybe the far end of Jupiter. I was not biased at all. That was just conversations with my lover that were private. So let's go ahead. Let's just finish this up with Gowdy.
Whatever you got, finish it the hell up, because this country is being torn apart. I would yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Either the witnesses care to respond to the...
I would simply respond, Ms. Gowdy. I certainly share.
And then the 6th way of circumventing logic and reason. I certainly share your concern. Imagine you got into an argument with your wife or your husband, girlfriend or boyfriend, and it's just, you're always doing this. Why are you always doing this? I told you. I certainly share your concern, honey. I want you to know that if it's been proven that I've done anything wrong, I will take the appropriate measures when ready, when necessary, to change and alter my behavior. But I certainly share your concern, my love. What are you talking about? You're condescending. I share your concern, and that's duly noted. Not going to have a good relationship there. Okay, hold on one second.
Your views about those text messages, and nobody is more offended than I about what's reflected in those messages.
Nobody is more offended than I. Nobody is more offended than I from those text messages. Is that true? I doubt that, though. I really, really, really doubt that. Somehow I have a hard time believing that nobody is more offended than Rod Rosenstein. It's not believable. Just like when Bob Goodlatte explained, look, it's not believable. I hope he'll be impeached. He's facing impeachment risk. He's facing the risk of impeachment. I can't. The only thing I'm pretty certain of, or very confident of, is Clinton getting indicted or charged eventually. But I don't know. I mean, he could weasel or slither his way. Give documents, give just enough documents to stay in his position. Right now he's facing impeachment. So this is the first step, the process. That's why I'm saying he's facing, a DOJ faces impeachment. It's true after House resolution. Will he get impeached? I'm not 100% sure. It looks like there's actually the HA After Dark is actually, we have that, and we're gonna Azande X, thank you Azande for always watching. Thank you, merci beaucoup, thank you. Horace, thank you, Horace, thank you so much. Thank you, Horace, for supporting this channel and for the live stream. Thank you, Horace. Thank you so much. There was a great one from Ron DeSantis. Or no, there was actually a really good one from, I forgot, who is he? Okay, so let's just try Ron DeSantis.
And I'll begin by recognizing the gentleman from Florida.
So he's actually, this is actually, so Horace. So let me hold on one second. Let's see.
I yield back. Gentleman yields back, and the chair recognizes the gentleman from Florida, Mr. DeSantis, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Deputy Attorney General, when Sally Yates defied President Trump travel restriction order at the end of January 2017, was that appropriate what she did?
I did.
All right, so hold on one second.
I get it. So
to get those answers.
Let me ask you this: the role of Mr. Strzok. How much of this Russia investigation was due to him? Because yes, Mueller saw the text. Obviously, I think there was nothing he could do. You get rid of him. But how much of this whole investigation has been infected with his bias? Have you made a determination on that?
I have not, but I do want you.
He's not. So, Horace, thank you again. Thank you, Horace. And notice the level of animus and the way Rosenstein just doesn't give a poop. I have not looked at how Strzok's text messages affect the Mueller probe. He even made reference to Strzok being like one of his 130,000 people. But none of the 130,000 people deleted 5 references to gross negligence, did they? To ensure that Hillary Clinton wasn't indicted. None of those 500,000 people had FBI text messages that said, "Oh, we're gonna stop Trump."
I want you to know, and again, without talking specifically about this investigation, that the FBI does have procedures for all investigations to ensure that they're appropriately vetted, so there's any one individual.
So then he goes again, procedures. He then I think the 6th or 7th. I mean, there's so many different appeals. I have 5 that I've spoken of, but well, these are procedures. We're talking about procedures now. Well, these are their procedures that will go ahead and address those things. They're procedures. We're just going to hide behind procedures because you know that there's no way to answer in a normal fashion. So then, oh, well, let's address the issue and then just say, well, the bureaucracy will just suck it up and swallow any fact or any overt, piece of evidence that shows the Mueller probe shouldn't exist. We'll just, swallow it up in bureaucracy.
We'll be able to make decisions on that.
I hope that, but if you look at that damning text on 15 August 2016, this is bad. He says, I want to believe the path you threw out for consideration in Andy's office. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's Andrew McCabe's office. That there's no way he, meaning Donald Trump, gets elected. But I'm afraid we can't take that risk. We in the FBI can't take that risk. It's like an insurance policy in the unlikely event you die before you're 40. So let me ask you this. If you have those Walmart shopping Trump voters that Peter Strzok so derided in his text messages, how do they react to that? Do they have confidence in their FBI and their Department of Justice when you see that you can't let the American people vote somebody in who they want to?
Congressman, I think...
So then, I mean, there's no way to defend these text messages. There's just no way at all. Exactly, face. There's just no way to defend them. And then just watch what happens.
What I hope you can tell your constituents and to provide reassurance to the American people is that we have appropriate internal affairs officers who will get to the bottom of that.
We have appropriate internal affairs officers, sniffle, 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 who will get to the bottom of that. We have appropriate internal affairs officers who will get to the bottom of that. Well, that's not what DeSantis asked, is it? DeSantis did not ask that. What DeSantis was saying is, how can you allow this to take place? Did this person have any influence on the Mueller probe? Is this mentality prevalent? Because we know there are 13 angry Democrats. And we know that there are people who actually, there's one person who actually defended the Clinton Foundation. So you have a situation here where we are, they're not fooling us, and we know exactly what's going on. But let's go ahead. Steve King. That's interesting.
Within the executive branch, anywhere in the executive branch.
And what I regret that you're not seeing going on behind the scenes is that Director Wray,
would you then abide by such an order?
And what I regret that you're not seeing going on behind the scenes is that Director Wray and I have been in regular contact with Director Coates and with the CIA regarding some of these requests. And
all right, let's just go ahead. Oh, this is great.
New digestive advantage.
Oh, my goodness. Hold on one second. This is great. Hold on one second. Now you're just Colin. Oh, this is fantastic. I didn't get this.
Caliber, counterintelligence level. This is not
Doug Collins.
Recruit. This is somebody who's been around, who's had very sensitive information. And on January 13th, 2016, an individual from the FBI's Washington field office emailed Mr. Strzok and other employees that their polygraphs were out of I think it was out of scope. I asked you about that and asked you if he had been polygraphed. You didn't know at the time. It said the polygraph raised flags. Now, my question about this would be, you didn't know about the polygraph at the time. We'll just assume now that it is out there you do. Would the topic of the extramarital affair have come up in that polygraph, or a possibility come up in that polygraph on Mr.
I didn't know Strzok was polygraphed.
I do not know the answer.
Either way.
I have no idea what would have been raised in any specific person's polygraph at this moment.
Could he have passed a polygraph given the text? And I'm putting this in context. So the text that we see now before continuing in very sensitive areas such as the investigation, the Mueller investigation, again, the Hillary Clinton, but knowing the bias that we have seen that we've commented on today, if those texts taken into account were on this polygraph, and could he have passed a polygraph if he, on his own ability, denying an affair with Lisa Page?
Well,
Wow. So Strzok took a polygraph. That's interesting. We're 2 minutes into this insane live stream with the best live chat in all of YouTube. And we're 2 minutes, 2 hours. And we're still 913 people strong. We're 913 people strong. So Doug Collins is the man.
I'm not going to engage in hypotheticals, especially hypotheticals when, as I've said before, we have referred a number of individuals mentioned prominently in the report to our Office of Professional Responsibility.
So, ladies and gentlemen, so this is an amicus humani generis link. And ladies and gentlemen, it's everything that I've been saying, not to toot my own horn. Don't want to pat myself on the back. But all of these people, like I have stated, I got to put this in the description section for the next. So hold on one second. This is, and you might be saying, oh, HJ, what the heck are you talking about now? Hold on one second. This is
hypotheticals when, as I've said before, we have referred a number of individuals mentioned prominently in the report to our Office of Professional Responsibility.
3 minutes and 37 seconds in. I have been saying that they have been referring Strzok, definitely Peter Strzok, McCabe already, Comey is now being referred, very likely Kleinsmith, Moyer, and Page. That's huge. And that means that James Comey is going to get a criminal referral, that very likely going to get a criminal referral. Although we already know that his number 2 has a criminal referral from the IG. Once that happens, it's game, set, match. Then you want to talk about singing and flipping and singing and flipping and flipping and singing and singing and flipping.
For the appropriate disciplinary process, and my commitment to doing things by the book includes not, as FBI director, commenting on them while they're ongoing.
Okay, well, let's go back to process and personnel here. If they're out of scope, do you think it's interesting that you would continue to have someone in an investigation of such magnitude and sensitivity who basically had a failed polygraph or an out-of-scope polygraph test in which they had to then go back and re-answer or complete sensitive compartmentalized information requests on this? Would they stay in that investigation? And if so, were they treated differently because of his position or who he was?
Well, again, I'm not going to engage in hypotheticals about individuals that may have been referred for our disciplinary process.
Does it not strike you as strange, though, Mr. Ray? And I was not going here, but now you...
William, you were 100% right. Comey is a singer. Comey is like the jazz singer of backstabbing, bureaucratic show tunes. Comey is going to turn on anyone if he's pushed hard enough, and especially Clinton. And he just actually defended himself from Clinton the other day. Clinton was like, oh, but my emails, ha, ha, ha. And he was like, yeah, it wasn't about that. It was about classified intelligence on a system that shouldn't have classified intelligence. That's what it's about. That's why she's going to get indicted. Or you pick a crime, any crime. If it's an Espionage Act, it'll be something else. Could be about the Clinton Foundation, but pick a crime, any crime. Like pick a card, any card. Pick a crime, any crime.
You've led me here. Is it not strike you strange that someone who has had an issue with a polygraph during the investigation which you have, in which sensitive information were coming about, in which we've now seen the text and other things, what would be that? So could they just flunk a polygraph and you just keep them on? If they could flunk questions, do you keep them on sensitive information simply because that? Not particularly Mr. Strzok here. I'm talking an overall policy. Is your policy just to keep people around that lie?
Of course not.
Okay, then why would we have an issue here in which there is at least an assumption that something is not right? How did this individual continue to stay on investigations when there is polygraph evidence where he had to go back through and say it's out of sorts? And we know that from one of those, the other employees were in a relationship and later got married and disclosed that relationship.
Wow. So you took a polygraph regarding all this stuff. Peter Strzok took a if you're one of the 900 people who stayed on this live stream. I didn't know. I didn't read about this. Maybe people are talking about it. I know. I didn't read about this. Wow. And he still kept on the investigations even though he failed.
Yeah. So how was this individual kept in an investigative role in this when there was a sensitivity factor here of possibly lying or even now we know bias?
Well,
The time the gentleman has expired. The director.
I would like to respond. As I've said repeatedly, we're going to hold people accountable and make sure that we follow our policies strictly. And that does not include me commenting on pending matters involving those people. I want to make sure that people are held accountable, but I want to make sure it's done right and by the book, and I'm not going to do it any other way.
And I understand that, Mr. Director, but also say this, and Mr. Rosenstein, you may.
So Strocky Poo is going to get it. They're not playing around, ladies and gentlemen. They're not playing around. And that's why I started this off by saying that this is a good thing. That today was actually, good. And it was frustrating, but today was a very, very good day in terms of all of this coming out. Today was a very good day. You have to understand when Christopher Wray is actually one of the good guys in this, I think. And when Christopher Wray is saying the Office of Professional Responsibility is looking into Strzok and others, and we already know about the relationships because, oh, by the way, we had a polygraph test. I'm going to do some more research on this polygraph issue. So we know from the congressman, Doug Collins, that he either failed a polygraph test or there were questions about a polygraph test. So that's good. Look, like I keep saying, this is all yes. I'm going to just keep on saying, HA, can you say Hillary will be indicted? Wife says works better than Viagra for me. John, Hillary is going to get indicted. And I can tell you it's not sustainable. So if you want to make, if it's, it's a different way, ringtones, or maybe I got to make a shirt. This is not sustainable. Hillary will get indicted. And you transfer special access program and top secret intelligence from SIPRNet, JWICs, and SCIFs. Oh, and by the way, I used to say UPS, FedEx, we don't know. Because, by the way, they shipped a laptop in the mail. UPS, FedEx, we don't know. Then we found out, I think we found out the destination, or there was one report stating that, I forget, it's all a bunch of nonsense. This Hillary Clinton's email server scandal was the biggest cybersecurity debacle in U.S. history. And in order to save face, it was so horrendous. In order to save face, the intelligence community, basically Brennan, Comey, and Clapper decided to throw the whole nation under the bus. The entire nation was thrown under the bus. Because Clinton lost $1.2 billion and cheated and still lost. How bad do you have to be? Ford patron, thank you. How bad do you have to be? How horrible do you have to be? They are human centipede. That's true. So let's go ahead. Let's see. My buddy Sean has some good. DOJ springs a leak. Rosenstein blasts GOP congressman. What? Apparently, he called the GOP not nice name. One publication reports. 7 days. We got 7 days to turn over documents. 7 days. They don't turn over documents in 7 days. It's game over. Game over. Game over, man. Game over. So, okay, so all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead. Oh, thank you, Horace, again. If you don't mind, what are the other security facilities you referred to with the skiffs? So SIPRNet. All right, Horace, that's a good one. So before we go, I want to go ahead. SIPRNet is, for classified information, Secret Internet Protocol Router Network, a system of interconnected computer networks used by the U.S. Department of Defense and U.S. Department of State to transmit classified information, up to and including classified secret information. So she took cell phone pics, and Pragliano just thumb drive. They just came in like just a bunch of gangsters and just just a bunch of people that ran the show. No, that's my computer right there. No, I'm going to do that right now, and I'm going to stick the thumb drive, take the picture, get out of the way. Who appointed this I did, sir, Major. Spaceballs. Anyway, SIPRNet and JWICS is the higher level classification. In other words, JWICS is the DoD's top secret intranet, Joint Worldwide Intelligence Communication System, otherwise known as Hillary's basement toilet server. Yes. Hillary's basement toilet server. Ladies and gentlemen, so thank you, Horace. Thank you. This has been an epic live stream. We were keeping 1,000 people for 2 hours. And I want to thank you very much, everyone here. SIPRNet and JWICS. She was transferring information from all of those networks, because she had information from 5 different intelligence services: CIA, FBI, NSA, National Geospatial Agency, and another intelligence service. I forgot which one. Miss Whoever Whatever. She will never be indicted. That's possible. That I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Not often, but I've been wrong before. But I want to ask you this respectfully. Miss Whoever Whatever. You could be 100% right. But why? Because she's too powerful? Nobody is too powerful. If you're a human, only God is powerful. Now, you know it's bad when you get, like, in terms of theology, because Nixon was more powerful than Hillary. Nixon was way more powerful. Bill Clinton was way more powerful, and he got it. He almost got it. I mean, you know. So Nixon was way more powerful, and he got it. The Blumansky, thank you. Thank you, the Blumansky. Thank you. Thank you, the Blumansky. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. The Blumansky, thank you. And Eric H526, thank you always for your continued support and for basically, you know, being the moderator here. And thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back in a couple of hours. And we'll eventually do HA After Dark. After Dark. And what can I tell you? I have a really wonderful group of people. And I only have 117,000 subs. And we're averaging 1,000 viewers live. That's like, you know, channels that have 300-400. Don't do that consistently. But I want to thank you so much. Hit subscribe right now. Look out for my shirts. The shirts will be coming out soon. My books are below. My books, my Butter Top Secret Emails, Butter Deleted Emails, The Alwan Brothers and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Debunking the Trump-Russia Myth. Thank you, Sandra Lee. $3.99 on Amazon. Hit subscribe right now. Share this segment everywhere, especially for send it to people who want to know what happened today. Thank you so much. God bless. I will see you in a couple of hours or so, and then after we'll have HA After Dark. Thank you so much.